and specifically about the Advanced Plus shopping learning phase, because right now it was 50 conversions per week and right now they've changed it to 25. So it's a new update that they did. I just want to know your thoughts because for me it's a controversial matter.
Obviously, as Meta is getting more sophisticated, it is able to optimize with ever few data and evaluate it better. I think it's great news for smaller advertisers or people with much more expensive products where 50 purchases a week might have been something that's not really realistic. So I think it helps them a lot, and it's important because the smaller businesses keep being pushed more and more aggressively to stay competitive, and market shares tend to consolidate towards the top tier.
Hi Stelios.
Hey John.
Today I have some news about Meta that I would like to discuss. This podcast will be mainly about some news that I've heard that relates to Meta. One of the things that actually captured my attention. You already know that Meta in Europe have a lot of beef. Like there are a lot of problems with Meta in Europe specifically. So right now, European Union fights a ton with Meta in many different occasions. And right now, on July 10, Instagram, like European Union, banned the Instagram infinite scroll. So essentially, they are going to sue Meta for the infinite scroll. And another thing that actually create an issue for Meta is that right now, like to all European devices, you have the option, like mandatory, to go inside, like you're going to see a pop-up and you have to click, and then you have to opt out from the ads to be that specific to you. So essentially the ads are not going to be as targeted anymore, because right now you need to either opt in to personalized ads or not. So that actually creates a lot of friction for advertisers, and it's something that me as an advertiser I don't really like. But like European Union, like just I don't know why this is happening with European Union, but like this is something that the European Union does to Meta, and we have to actually cope with it. Have you heard about those two news?
Yeah, and so the first time that we see issues between European Union and Meta, it wasn't long ago that we had extra tax fees for certain countries, and I guess the important thing here is to keep close to it and follow it to see how this influences all of us, either as advertisers working within the European Union or as for the accounts that we manage and they choose to advertise in European Union. Yeah, Europe tends to be much stricter in what goes and what doesn't. So yeah, I guess just something to follow, which has always been the case really since day one with European Union and Meta.
Yeah, for sure. But Meta is very smart. Like if you see the pop-up, have you seen this pop-up that I told you about? Essentially that because we are based in Europe, although we have clients in US, we're based in Europe and we see this pop-up like in our feed. So have you seen this pop-up yet or not yet?
No, it hasn't shown to me yet. I did see another one about, and maybe we can discuss this later if you want to, about having the option to opt out from letting Meta use your own content for AI creation. Did you see that?
Yeah, like this is another thing that popped out again. So it's another thing that we can discuss. But
Yeah.
this pop is smart because what Meta does like is always they try to navigate around European Meta restrictions. So yes, they of course they follow the rules because they know that the European market is huge for them. They have to, but they do it in a way where it doesn't interrupt really the experience. So in the beginning, when like months ago, not right now, there was another issue that like it's illegal. Like European Union said that it is illegal to not have an option to opt out of the ads. So essentially, Meta, what they did is they created a subscription for people that they want to opt out of the ads. If you don't want to see the ads, that's fine. You can pay us. But this was really just like a pop-up that was recommended. Like it was really easy to opt out. Of course, the conversion rate from people going into Meta and actually paying for Meta to just not see ads wasn't that like that effective. Like people didn't actually opt in, and Meta knew that. That's why they had like a high price for that. And when they actually showed to you, it was really clear that like it was really easy to opt out. Right now, with the update that I told you, not the infinite scroll update, but the update about the personalized ads, they basically tell you in the pop-up that if you select the non-personalized ads, you're going to see more ads. So it's going to be, yes, not as personalized, so we're not going to use your data, but you're going to see more ads, more placements. And one of the placements that they mentioned is that the reels will stop, so you're going to see an ad, and then the reel will continue, which is something that definitely like interrupts the experience of the user, and it's something that a lot of people won't really like. They would prefer to just give Meta their data than to be interrupted when they're seeing reels. So yeah, like at least they are smart. Like Meta is smart to navigate around European Union, so I'm not that worried. Are you?
Yeah, and not really. Whether we like it or not, Meta is always going to come out on top on this. It's much more flexible and much more capable to find ways to overcome whatever restriction the European Union might impose, which obviously is a more traditional constitution, and it's way more. There is way more friction to everything that it decides to do in terms of how time sensitive it might be. So yeah, I will still bet on Meta to come out top in any type of contest like that.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. All right. So do you have like what do you have for today?
Okay, let's start with. Okay, apparently there's gonna be an update on the Ads Manager, and they're gonna implement a product CPC metric within the Ads Manager. And I guess my takeaway from this is because if you really think about it, you can calculate it even now. It's not something that will add value to your whole process overall. So I guess it's just a way to Meta to show advertisers that we're here and we're trying to better the experience. But I'm worried that they kind of take away time and spend time and effort in stuff that do not really help us. They just try to make small changes to make the experience overall better. But personally, on this one, just having a product CPC, yes, it will make it faster and implement it as part of the dashboard, of the main dashboard. But especially with the AI tools that we have these days, it's not something that you were not aware of either way. And it's just another one of those changes on the dashboard that I find it quite meaningless to be honest. But I guess they cannot just make the best changes every time.
Yeah, definitely. Look, to be honest with you, right now, like I manage a lot of other accounts, and I know that like the platform, like the Ads Manager, it's a buggy platform. It's a platform
Has
that
always
actually,
been.
yeah, like it's a platform that it's not user friendly. Like I publish also ads on TikTok, and even though TikTok is a much newer platform, it's much faster than Meta. So you can pretty easily like publish ads, like duplicate ads. Like it's not as buggy. It has its own issues, of course, but Meta, like I don't really understand how this platform can be that buggy, that problematic. And honestly, at this point, I do think that there is going to be a point in my experience. I already do that, but it's going to be a point where you are not going to interact a lot with the ads manager, just because you can use a lot of AI tools to, for example, right now we can publish ads using Claude, so you can also monitor your ads using Claude. So if you have that option, why would you go into a buggy platform to click buttons where everything is going to be slower if you can use API keys to make all the changes instantly with code, it's going to be much better. So I'm not that worried. I don't really care about changes that they do inside the ads manager. I really care about things that they do in terms of the algorithm, because that's what impacts a lot of like much more the results of the clients. The change into the platform, like adding coloring to the ads manager and all of those things, I don't really find them that useful. Even though a lot of people like it, I don't really find it that useful, just because you can do so many different, like you can be much faster at making decisions and making changes if you're using a tool, an AI tool like Claude. So I don't really think that they need to do anything on that part. Just fix the algorithm so it can target better. Another thing that I would like to discuss, it's not something that it's about news, but I have seen it in my feed, and it was a problem that I want to discuss. There are some brands where you actually see a lot, like I publish a lot of ads, like for a lot of my clients. Some of their ads, I see them like very rarely. Some other ads, I see them very often. And it's not like that I'm in the target demographic. It's mainly how their pixel works. Like I see the pixel works on my feed, and it's quite like you can understand if a pixel is working properly or not, just by interacting with your client's ads. Because like there is a pixel that I know that it has issues, it doesn't target properly, and this pixel I see the ads like over and over again, the same setup, like broad campaign, like to an audience that like a broad campaign with really specific creatives. I see a lot of their ads like all the time, and the budget is small. And for other clients that have similar product, I don't see their ads, and if I see their ads, I don't see them that often. So that's actually an issue that I do think that it has to do with the way that the pixel is working. It's actually like showing again and again and again the same ads to the same audience, and that actually can hurt performance. Like, and the performance difference is huge. Like from the accounts that I see the ads, like it runs poorly, and the account that I don't see the ads, it runs very well. So and this is something that like bothers me, and like sometimes, like for this other account, like one of the things that I want to try is to change the pixel, because right now the pixel, I do think that it's fact, and it's something that it happens with many other accounts, and it's very hard to actually fix. Because if the pixel, like whatever you do in the targeting, like if the pixel doesn't work properly, like nothing's gonna work. Have you experienced something like that?
Obviously there are times that you are running with ad accounts that everything is set up correctly according to your experience in the case studies that you have seen, and obviously the pixel plays a big part in it. But the question here is, when do you reach the point when you say, okay, it stops being about training the pixel, something has gone wrong in the way, and it's about time you change it completely? When do you think you reach that point, and how can you even tell?
Yeah, it really depends on the on each case. I would say that like if you've tried many different things, you've spent a lot of money on the ad account, you probably will know. But it depends also on the business, how bad things are. So if you like, because if you have experience with ad accounts, you know if this product is good, you know if this creative is good or not, and it should be working according to your experience. And if it doesn't work again and again and again, and you've tried multiple things, then the pixel change is something that you should consider. But this is a point where I would say that it's not that important for like 99% of the people, like the advertisers out there. Like it's very rare that it is the pixel the problem. I would say that. Like
Right.
it's most likely it's the offer, it's the creative, or the targeting that you do, or the setup on the ads, rather than the pixel. but this is a very rare case where I do think that the pixel has issues. But like the best advice is try everything before you actually do that. Like this is the last resort, and yeah, it's the last resort. I don't really think that a lot of people should do that.
And do you think when it happens, when the pixel actually turns out to be problematic, is this the product of some type of bad management of someone running ads or targeting the wrong way, or is just there is an element of randomness to it? Like at some point, the pixel just starts targeting incorrectly, and there's really no one to blame. It's just a random thing that happens because of within all this sophistication that the meta tools have. It's just a phenomenon that occurs from time to time.
Look, I do think that it happens with the way that you run the ad account because the pixel has data. So if you run the ad account like in a weird way and you're spending very little money, for example, like the three cases where I have seen where the pixel clearly has issue is when you actually run for multiple months or multiple even years, like small budget ads and bottom of funnel ads. So only retargeting, mainly if your main acquisition channel was Google for any reason and you have Meta just for retargeting, then I tend to see that the pixel is being like it takes a lot of time for it to actually start optimizing and start reaching new audiences when you try to create top of the funnel creatives and start acquiring customers through Meta. This is something that I have seen. So yeah, but I do think also that there is a randomness to it. But I don't really think that it is that big of an issue just because like from the like hundreds of other accounts that I have seen, like only two might have this issue, maybe three.
Yeah,
So
it is rare.
yeah, it's
Maybe with because you spoke about very few conversions. Maybe when you have few conversions, obviously some of them are gonna occur randomly again, and this might cause some confusion to it because it has only a certain pool of data, and then if half of it is random, and you try to interpret those as as a guide for how it's gonna target in the future, that can mess up with its performance, I guess.
yeah, for sure, for sure, for sure. Another thing that I would like to discuss about the learning phase and specifically about the advanced plus shopping learning phase because right now it was 50 conversions per week and right now they've changed it to 25. So it's a new update that they did, and but I just want to know your thoughts, to understand your thoughts around the learning phase because for me it's a controversial matter, and I do think that like not a lot of people agree with my takes on it. So what are your
Okay.
thoughts on that?
Okay, I want to hear your thought, but my first thought would be that obviously as Meta is getting more sophisticated, it is able to optimize with either few data and evaluate it better. I think it's great news for smaller advertisers or people with much more expensive products where 50 purchases a week might have been something that is not really realistic. So I think it helps them a lot, and it's important because what happens in meta ads is something that happens in the market overall, even offline and online, that the smaller businesses are keep being pushed more and more aggressively to stay competitive, and market shares tend to consolidate towards the top tier. So if that turns out to be something that allows them to be more competitive and get better results from meta ads, I think it is one of the few good news that we had lately regarding smaller, mid-sized businesses. And also businesses that were fighting hard to advertise through Meta because of the nature of their product and their price range.
Yeah, definitely. Look, for me, I'm all for it. Like for sure, it is going to help small advertisers that they don't have a lot of budget to spend because that means let's do the calculation. If you need 50 conversions per week, and let's say your CPA, because you have an expensive product. Let's go into that section. And the expensive product, like the cost per purchase that you are getting right now, it is around like $100. So that means that you need to spend $700 per day, so you can actually get out of the learning phase.
Just to get
On
out of
this,
the learning phase.
yeah, just to get out of the learning phase, just to know that your test has been completed. Right now, this has been halved essentially. So right now, you need to spend $300 per day in order to get out of the learning phase in a week. But in my experience, the learning phase has little to do with how performance actually works on Meta. Like I have seen little correlation between like an ad getting out of the learning phase and staying for longer or having a better performance. I would hope that like, and eventually I do think that this is going to be fixed. As many things in Meta, like yes, right now they don't work, but in the future they might work as they're going to get better. So it's a good news if it works, but I have my doubts. I don't think that it really works. I still don't think that you should really care that much about the learning phase, just because how Meta works and just because how like I've seen with my experience on the learning phase, like what's happening. So I'm not really trusting that. And a lot of things that Meta announces or Meta says, they are not actually in your best interest to follow. Meta reps, for example, they talk a lot about exiting the learning phase, but rarely that happens. And they also give you like other advices that are not good. Like they are good in theory, they are good on how the algorithm is supposed to work, but they don't really improve performance. And when you actually make any change into the ad account, then your mind is all right. This is going to improve performance because like this is every advertiser. This is what they really care about. So those are my thoughts.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, and we can talk for ages about how many things Meta announces that maybe their primary goal is not to better the product per se, but kind of pass a certain message to the stock markets and see how the price fluctuates after that. But my hope is that even the 50 conversions, obviously I agree with what you say, it's not a hard boundary. I think Meta is using it sort of as a threshold to show you at what level of conversions your account will be optimized and you will be making the full use of its capacity. So then bringing that down, I hope there is some truth to it and that the algorithm, its algorithm and capabilities will be now able to operate in smaller numbers. That's my hope. Because again, we can have it in use for way more ad accounts.
Yeah, definitely. We have to see. But how thing about Meta though is because a lot of things keep change on the Meta algorithm and how Meta works. You need to try new things and you need to try things that you have tried in the past, because some of the things that you tried in the past and they didn't work, you can try them right now and they are going to work.
Definitely.
And that's why I don't really think that having a ton of experience in running Meta helps you a ton. Like it helps you, but because the algorithm changed, it's something that like you need to test again to see the learning phase, for example. Maybe it works, but because in the past it didn't work, I'm like an advertiser that hasn't actually tried that, like an advertiser that has been advertising for years and they know that the learning phase doesn't work. They are not going to try it because this is a rule to their mind. But right now, maybe things have changed. So it's something that you should play around and see if it's going to improve performance. Definitely.
And they also implemented the learning phase expected duration feature that kind of lets you know when it's gonna exit the learning phase. But from what I've seen so far, it's not really custom. It's like a generic pop-up. Like I saw the same window appear in many different ad accounts, so I don't really trust it. So I wanted to just mention that as well. But overall, yeah, I agree. Actually, having experience with the platform in certain cases and depending on how open you are in experimenting, I think oftentimes might even hurt your performance other than help you. So yeah, what might sound great in other professions, if you hear somebody saying that I've been running Meta ads for 10 years, that's not necessarily a good thing. Someone who runs ads for 3 years, if they have put in the time and they have experimented enough, they might even be more guarded, more in a better place to actually perform.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Like there are many strategies that in the past they did work and right now they don't. For example, right now, another thing that I've noticed into ad accounts, in the past, we used to actually scale by horizontally and vertically as well. So you would take the same creative, duplicate it, and into a new campaign, and it's gonna work the same way. Right now, I see that time and time again, this actually has stopped working. If I duplicate, it actually has much worse performance than the original campaign, and it's not a very effective way to scale. It's much better to actually increase the spend on the ad. And it was very recent, like into one ad account that I've tried that again to see what's going to happen, because you need to keep trying new things and you need to test, even though you know that this is not the case. So an advertiser that has been stuck in the past would say that, yeah, this is the way that I'm doing things. And right now this actually doesn't work and you need to actually scale. And because they were afraid to actually increase the budget, because there was much bigger problems if you increase the budget into one campaign. Like if you increase the budget by too much in the past, the campaign would actually die without any particular reason. So the safest route was actually to duplicate the campaign. Right now, the safest route is actually increase the budget, not duplicate the campaign. And when you duplicate the campaign, the only way that this can work is if the creatives that start get spent, they are not going to be the creatives that did get spent on the previous campaign. So let's say we have one campaign, one ad set for simplicity, and 5 creatives inside. And the 2 of them work very, very well. The other ones do not get spent. You take this campaign and you try to duplicate it in order to scale it. If the other creatives were good and they take budget, it's going to work. If the 2 creatives that they were taking budget in the past, those are the leading creatives, this to be effective and to actually scale, I have seen that I haven't actually seen that right now. Maybe it's going to happen for one ad account. There are a lot of things that do happen in other accounts and in other accounts they don't, but it's very, very rare. Like I've tried it multiple times and it's very rare that actually this campaign actually performs.
Gotcha.
It simply doesn't.
Yeah, it's super important to try to stay updated and not be prejudiced against practices that might have worked or not have worked in the past when you judge whether you're going to use them today or not.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so another thing that I wanted to run by you. I was watching this interview by Nicola Mendelsohn, and for anyone who doesn't know, she's the head of global business for Meta, and she was answering this question. The question was that if you have to give advertisers one advice that has nothing to do with the creative, across the board, something that will apply for everyone and it's not the creative, what would it be? And she answered that I would suggest everyone to make use of the Advantage Plus suite, like in general, not only targeting, not only creative, just the totality of it. And that they have seen, the US numbers are 4.13 return on ad spend on everyone who uses the Advantage Plus suite. And I wanted to discuss this because it's just a slippery slope and 2 ways to read at it, because we already use massively the Advantage Plus targeting with broad targeting and not going into very specifics on who we're going to target or not, unless there's something very particular about a certain business. But how do we feel when it comes down to the creatives? And I want to tie that with the news image that was actually launched very recently by Meta.
Yep. So the problem with having big numbers and doing a research across many different accounts, it is that like you are losing specifics of the ad accounts, and maybe there are variants inside the ad account that actually you don't account for. For example, the Advanced Plus creative, if you advertise a lot of catalog ads, they do make sense. it's not going to bother a ton like how the user experience works. So you can use everything Advanced Plus, like even the enhancements. It's not going to actually affect the ad account. So if the pool of the ad accounts that they got this information from, it has a lot of catalog ads, because the majority of the ad accounts out there, they run with catalog ads, and they take the results from there, then maybe that's something that affects the, like, it poisons the
It skews the data, yeah.
yeah, like, because you cannot actually use it for a native ad, for example, because it's the experience, like, you are not going to get the experience that you want out of the creative that you've designed. And another thing also is if your business is not really thoughtful with the creatives that they do, and they just like launch random things, and having the advanced plus that's going to put an edge, put a sound to it, like make it a little bit more engaging, that might actually help. Uh, but I don't really think, like, I have to check into the data and see where they actually taking this information from to know for sure that actually that's the case, because it worked in like this number that they say that like it increased performance. I don't see that inside my ad accounts, so I it's very hard for me to believe that
Yeah.
that's actually the case. Like, and also because I don't really trust Meta in that part, because they want to make the Endless Plus work. They want to make you use these features, because this trains their algorithm. This makes the algorithm better. Like, they can understand like what works and what doesn't, and it's their own features. So they want to use them, so they have more control over the user experience. And so I don't trust it. Like, I don't even trust that these data are not actually like um, guided into that way. Like, because
Yeah.
you can lie with data, you can lie with statistics. You can select, like, you don't select the full ad account structure. You select the specific ad account like size, where things that do not matter, or you compare dates from results that they're not, or if you compare, like, another thing that actually can affect performance is if you have the same creatives, like like a test that you can do is actually having a same campaign, one with advanced plus creative and one without. Like, the one with advanced plus creative, it's going to get prioritized, and it's going to actually have better performance, just because Meta does that, not because, like, if you close the advanced plus one, the main campaign, it's not going to perform better. So I don't know how these data have been collected, and I don't trust Meta. I trust whatever I see. But what are your
100%.
thoughts?
100%, yes. And we have talked about this before, but it's obvious that at a certain level, Meta is experimenting on the advertisers' budget to make their creatives and every aspect of it better. Because now, how long have the creative enhancement been active? A few years, right? More than
Yep.
two, definitely, maybe even three. And in the beginning, they were terrible. Like, I cannot even think of a case where we would actually use them and be calm about it. Be certain that the ads are gonna show the way we want them to. They have gotten better. I can give them that. I have seen instances lately where, in terms of creative plurality, you can use it, and the results are way better visually. But as you said, a big part of it is Meta trying to lead things a certain direction. And we're talking about data that are skewed to begin with, because they put in the same bag the biggest enterprises that run Meta ads in the US and a small Shopify store in Wisconsin. There's no way to tell anyone that the best practices are going to be the same for both of those cases.
Yeah, yeah, and you have to imagine also, like, when you try to give advice, it depends on who is using the advanced plus creative. Because if it's a brand that they have no idea on how to actually do a really good creative, and they do just static ads that are like horrible. Like the advanced plus creatives, maybe they are going to fix some things like the touch up. Like if it's too dark, they are going to make it lighter. If the copy is not good because you are not a good copywriter, Meta is going to write the copy for you, and it's going to be better than like being horrible. But if you are really good with ads, really good with copy, really good with intentionality on how you want this ad to be shown, then it's going to mess with the experience, because the advanced plus creatives and all the generic AI tools, like if you go to ChatGPT and you tell it to write you a copy, it's going to do a better job than someone that doesn't know how to write, but it's going to do a much worse job than an expert copywriter. So
I think this is hugely important. Like AI will pull you back to average if there is something that you're not doing well. But in order to go from average to great, that's going to be your input.
Yeah, or your AI like skills and your AI inputs, but like you have to use your expertise into it. So that is what I think that's happening. So I'm not going to start using advanced plus creatives, and it's not because and the creative enhancements in general, and it's not because of I don't think that they eventually can perform. It's just like that the owners don't like the creatives. They want this video to be shown this way, and whenever it's not the same way that they intended, it's going to create a lot of friction, and I don't like that. So I'm like, even though I try things, this one I'm not going to try.
I've been guilty at times. I have used it. I will admit so.
Yeah. All right. That's for today. We talk to the next one. All right.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks for the talk.
All right. Bye.
Have a good one.